I'm not a panicky, alarmist type person, and I don't do conspiracy theories. But history tells us this country is on the verge of collapse. I will quickly give you the 6 things that lead to the collapse of an empire, in this case, the United States. Ray Dalio studied the rise and fall of empires going back 500 years, and every time, the collapse was followed by the same 6 phases. Phase 1 was a new order rising, strong leadership, solid education, innovation, unity. Yeah, we had that. Post-World War II, when we actually built stuff and invested in people. Phase 2 was peace and prosperity. Productivity booms, the economy grows, people trust in institutions. Well, we had that. The middle class was strong, unions had power, and the government wasn't a fucking punchline. Phase 3 is massive debt and wealth gaps. The rich get richer, and the poor get tax advice like stop buying coffee. Well, we're there, because the top 1% own more wealth than the entire middle class combined. Phase 4, internal conflict and political polarization. Trust erodes, people stop believing in the system. Well, we have one party destroying the country and the others watching. Nobody's solving shit. Phase 5 is the loss of reserve currency status and global power. Dalio said this state...
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Now, I want to ask a question from you guys. From all indication, from all the stories that are happening right now in America, I want to ask you, do you think America as an empire is falling? Think about it. Take some minutes, take some time. Don't be in a hurry, but be sincere. Is America as an empire falling? From all indication of news and everything, farmers complaining, the government trying to sanction countries and building walls around themselves so that they cannot be vulnerable, but they didn't know that it is actually a sign of weakness. When you begin to sanction countries and put tariff, increase tariffs to countries and make everything difficult for countries, but there are signs that the country is afraid and is trying to build resistance, walls around itself, so that from the outside it can look strong, as though it's still in charge. But the opposite is what is happening. Guys, welcome to my channel. I've compiled videos for you guys to watch. Let's go check it out. Let me not say more than I've said now, so that we can come back and take commentaries. Your views and perceptions are welcome on this video. Credits are given to our content. I'll be right back, don't go nowhere.
Now, if you look back throughout history, though, this happens again and again. Ray Dalio calls it the long-term debt cycle, and historians like William Strauss and Neil Howe call it the fourth turning. Every 20 years, we enter a new cycle. Great nations and empires rise, they prosper, they overextend, and eventually they decline. And the decline always kind of looks about the same. Debt goes up, the wealth between the rich and poor gets bigger and bigger, politics turn bitter, and trust in institutions collapses. Now, while all of this is happening, though, the empire wraps itself in a cocoon of protective policies that isolate itself from the rest of the world. Some of those policies are things like when the US government just took a 10% stake in Intel, effectively kind of part nationalizing it, which is weird. Then there's the tariffs. And while they're not necessarily inflationary, but they are protective regulations, which I think are done in good faith to protect the empire and buy it some time, but instead, they make the empire weaker and less competitive on a global level.
We're at the end of the American empire. The question is it China next? We're at the end of an empire right now. It is the end. It's the end of this. And all empires always come to an end. The Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, Chinese were the earliest. So what we're looking at today is the end of the American empire. So it's a very dangerous time. It's explosive, with Palestine and Gaza. All the stuff that's going on is an end of times. Not biblical, but just an end of an era. And the trouble when this comes to an end, war follows. That's what I'm afraid of.
No, you guys, this is not leading to a collapse. This is the empire collapsing. I feel like a lot of people think that things always happen all at once. That's not how it works. The empire is collapsing. And Trump's kind of shock and awe campaign, federalizing the police and saying that he's going to be adding troops to all these cities, that is just getting you comfortable with it and used to it, so that when they start making protests illegal and, Palantir has already taken over and has all of your biometric data, then they can start using some of the tactics they've been using in Gaza over here. We have a flaccid Congress that should be checking the president's power, but they're not. Instead, they're running around kissing the asses of Israeli officials and insider trading. It just got reported that Rick Scott, who's one of the most corrupt senators we've ever had, made almost $30 million only just recently off insider trading. Amazing. This is the decadent collapse. It's already happening, and we don't even have an opposition party to fight it.
Is the American empire collapsing?
Yes, it is. The question, the key question for everyone to be asking themselves, especially those in leadership, is how fast? And then the second question is, how do we arrest it to a certain extent? You can't stop it. It's impossible. But you can arrest it, and you can build a glide slope down which the empire slides, if you will, because there are equals in the world now. China, of course, is one of them. With nuclear weapons, you must say that Russia is one of them. And India comes very close to being one of them. It's a multipolar world now. You can't have a hegemon that is all things to all people 24/7.
We're not heading towards a collapse. This is the empire actively collapsing. Like, we're in it. This is the part in the history books that has a name to the event, but we're in it, so it's not being named. You know what I mean? It was the Great War before they knew that there was going to be a World War II. And then, mind you, during World War I, they didn't know that it was going to be called World War I. You know what I mean? But we're definitely in the collapse. It's not the collapse is coming. No, everything is failing currently, actively right now. The empire is collapsing right now. We are in the collapse of the American empire experiment. The experiment, and I've said this before, clearly has failed. Patriarchy has failed. The system of capitalism was not correct. Didn't really do much. Didn't really help. That including racism, on top of a whole bunch of other things, but racism being one of the things that literally built the country brick by brick, literally. Yeah, we're in the collapse. The collapse is now. Yeah, that's why everything looks so chaotic and crazy. And it's what's actually going on? It's because we're not actually on our way towards a collapse. This is just actually the collapse currently happening. And that's why we can't really make sense of anything. And it feels like so much is going on. We're not realizing this is the part in the history books that already has a name, but they haven't named it yet because we're currently going through it. You know what I mean? But this is the collapse of the American empire. I fully believe that. Absolutely.
Like I said, what do you think? Is America as an empire falling? America has been able to build walls around itself by resisting countries with their tariff system, increasing tariffs to countries. There was a time the tariff towards China was about 300, 245, 200, 100. But it got to 300% at some point. To Brazil, to Mexico, to against EU, just name all the countries. America was giving sanctions to African countries. And demographers and economics are saying there are all signs that the country is getting weak and is doing everything to protect itself, to make it look as though they are still in charge and they are still giving the order and they are still dictating the world economics. But the real sense is that they're not in charge anymore because countries are looking for alternatives. They are going elsewhere. A good example is China. When it comes to soybeans, they look for other countries that can give them the same, even at a lower price, which they went to Brazil. Right now, Brazil is giving that to them. And these are all signs that the shift has happened, the focus has happened, is happening. The world power is shifting away from where it is, which is America. And it looks like everybody's looking for alternative. Everybody's trying to build alliance with the country that is most relevant. In this case, let me ask you, which country do you think is most relevant? I want you to respond at the comment section. Which country do you think right now is most relevant, that every country on the surface of the earth is having trade deal or bilateral agreement with? Europe, America, Asia, Africa, Australia, just name it. Which country, singular country, do you think all of these continents are having trade with? Then that answers that the shift is no longer where it used to be. It's going to another place. And you can't really blame the country, because by 2026, America is said to be 250 years old. From what I've read in countries and shift in power and what order, when country reigns between 200 to 250 years, it happens to Roman Empire, it happens to Greek, it happens to every other world power that has governed the world. The highest have done is 250 to 251 years, and a shift from them. Could it be what is happening to America? Let me know in the comment section. Let the conversation begin as we unravel this together. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned to this time. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. If you love this great content, let the content go viral. Let everyone knows about it, because we are educating ourselves and passing information that will educate every man that listens to us. Thank you once again. Until I come your way again. Bye-bye.